Hello, fellow pirates. Welcome back to Dreadlock Gaming. Today, I'm going to talk to y'all about furnitures and weapons and ships. I see some good advice and some bad advice out there whenever it comes to combinations of furniture, weapons, ships, and whatnot. And I want to clarify. I sit down, I do the numbers, I figure things out to min-max stuff. To make sure that weapons are getting the most potential they can on a ship. Make sure that the ship is getting the best weapons and whatnot on it and everything. To make sure that the damage output and defense and whatnot is the best that can be done. And the combination thereof and everything. And I want to go over and explain some things to people, to my viewer base, to the fellow Skull and Bones community. I want to make sure people understand how things work. Excuse me. Apologies. Okay. First off, let's look at some ships. All right. The first ship let's look at a lot of people's favorite ship, the Sandbook. It is a DPS class. It specializes in dealing a lot of damage. It has the Scorched effect. With the Scorched effect, every time you apply, it says deals 5,000 burning damage to apply a blaze effect on an enemy ship. A blaze will be applied on enemies in a radius of 150 meters. What you want to do with the Sandbook, I know the Sandbook is not on the screen right now. I'm just looking at the information. What you want to do with the Sandbook is you want to set the ablaze as quick as you can and let it burn off as fast as it can. That way you can reapply it. Because every time you apply the ablazed effect, the Scorched perk kicks in. So each time you apply Ablazed, you get 5,000 damage. So extending the Ablaze effect is bad on the Sandbook. It is not a good thing. You want it to apply quick, burn off quick. Apply quick, burn off quick. You want to repeat the process as fast as you can over and over and over again. That way you get that extra 5,000 burst damage from the Scorched effect. That is one of the main features for the Sandbook, aside from its reload speed with Firebug. Now, another ship. Let's see. Let's look at the. Let's look at the barge. The barge is similar. It has wildfire. Works similar to the Scorched, but without the extra damage. You do apply a burning effect to. You do apply the ablaze effect to ships around your target. So you will get that same effect. Whenever you apply a blaze, it will spread to enemies within a 125 meter radius. The burning effect increases faster on the barge. Plus you have the devouring, where it builds up the torn sails effect on targets that are ablaze. That's a good effect. So when you set somebody afire, as soon as you set them afire and you keep attacking them, you will start to tear their sails, and it's pretty quick. Now let's look at the Padawakang. The Padawakang has Detonate, 70% chance to trigger an explosion, which deals 1,000 damage and 125 meter blast radius. If they are ablaze, an additional explosion will trigger 100% chance. Explosion can hit structures, or increases damage to structures by 50%. And you have Siege. At half sails and anchored, increases damage by 20% and reduces reload speed by 15%. Now, you have Sloop, which is the small version of the Padawan, pretty much. Explosions trigger 50% chance to trigger explosions, dealing 1500 damage, and blast rate is 50%. Structure is 40%, explosive damage 15%. The Sloop is very good against structures too, but the Padawan, in my opinion, is better against structures. Now, the Sloop, anything that you hit will do 10% less damage to anything that it does. That's one of the perks on the Sloop that makes it such a little powerhouse. Plus the heavy arsenal and the 15% explosion and the chain reaction from the outburst. Let's see what else. Let's look at the Brigantine. Brigantine, it's ramming damage. Whenever you do ram with it, 45%, you gain additional ramming damage by 45% and additional speed when pursuing an enemy within 300 meters. So if you're chasing somebody and you're within 300 meters, you gain speed. Flooding weapon damage. If you're using flooding weapons, 20% more damage. And you deal 20% more damage if they are flooded. So that's a total of 40% more damage. So flooding is the way to go on a Brigantine. Plus you have a headstrong, increases damage from ramming based on the current speed. So if you're going at full speed at 20 knots, you will 80% more damage. If they are already flooded and you ram them, that's a 7,000 damage burst. So if you are using a Brigantine and you see that the target is flooded, ram them. Keep ramming them. Ramming targets or ramming ships with the Brigantine and the Badar instantly floods them. Another thing, and this is with every ship, if you ram them, it gives them a debuff, or like a broken armor debuff. That debuff looks like a broken shield. It drops their armor. Ramming a target or a ship is always good. Doesn't matter what ship you're using. It will break their armor, drop their armor at least 100 points. With a Brigantine and the Badar, it drops it more. So ram ships to drop their armor so you can do more damage. Now with the Badar, you have Lancer. Increases damage from ramming by 25%. Gains additional speed while pursuing a ship within 300 meters. Applies a flooding status effect to an enemy ship upon ramming. It increases their reload time by 30% for 30 seconds. So you ram them, you get them flooded. It also drops their reload speed by 30%. You also have jousting. When you ram somebody based on your current speed, you can get up to 20 knots, especially with the 300 meter additional speed within 300 meters, and it reduces the target's armor by 300 for 30 seconds. So instant flooding, broken armor, reduced reload speed, armor dropped by 300. That's a lot of stuff on the Badar that you can do just by ramming them. Just by ramming them. The Badar is a really good little ship. Now let's look at the junk. The junk, basically, you are always going to be taunting, no matter what weapons you're using. If you are taunting, then you are reducing their damage. So once they have taunt on them of fully charged taunt, it reduces their damage by 50%. Now the provoke, within 200 meters range, apply taunt charges. Applying taunt with ship makes target vulnerable up to 50% increased weak point damage from all sources. So you'll hit them 50% harder if they have the taunt effect on them. Now endure, 2% less damage for each time you take damage while you're braced. It can stack up to 20% and expires after 12 seconds if you haven't taken damage while bracing for 12 seconds. You inflict taunt charges on hostile targets within 125 meters while bracing against attacks. So if you are bracing and somebody is attacking you, then you taunt everything else that's within 125 meters. Which means more stuff has the taunt effect on it, which means they get 50% more vulnerability to weak points. Okay. Now, let's go over some furniture. Now, we'll just manage ship. Furniture. Okay. Major furnitures. Iron capstan. It's all about being anchored. Whenever you're anchored, 15% less damage. Period. Now, rigging station. When your health is below 20%, you heal for 1% up to 20%. Dummy spring loader reduces. It's self-explanatory. There's nothing confusing there. Signal gong, nothing confusing there. Self-explanatory. Let's see. Any major furnitures that can be confusing. I know we have some new ones that look confusing, and that's why I'm making this video, mainly, but first some new ones. Scoping station does not work on sea monsters or the dragon. You cannot put status effects on the sea monsters or the dragon. Now, Bloody Red reduces threat generation of nearby friendly ships by 50%, increases the top bonus threat by 25%, increases taunt threat generation by 10%. This is a major furniture. It is ideal whenever you are fighting in a group scenario. If you are fighting a boss and there's several other players around, you're going to pull threat off of them. It's going to increase the threat that you create. And it's going to increase the bonus of the threat. Using it single player will have little to no effect for you. So, Bloody Red is specifically designed to use in group scenarios. Water tank, self-explanatory right there. Munitions mixer. Munitions mixer is good on anything that you want to increase the ablaze effect. Sandbook, munitions mixer is not good for. It's good on... It would be good on a Badar if you're using flooding weapons. It'd be good on a Brigantine if you're using flooding weapons. It'd be good on a barge to extend that ablaze effect, because you're going to want to use fire weapons. But is the weight of extending it 100% and losing 30% damage effectiveness for those effects good? It depends. That's one of those things you have to weigh out personally. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it could very well be good. It has its ups. Let's see. First aid station. specifically for healer ship, period. Gunner's Quadrant. I don't know if I would ever use this on a ship at all. War Drums. Could be good on a fast ship. Increases your armor rating while trimming. Decreases crew stamina while trimming. Now this one, Freeman's Embrace. This one it's odd. It's a situational thing, and I think it would probably be best used in a PvP situation. While under the Ablaze or Flood or Stormstruck status effect, ramming an enemy ship will spread the status effect to that ship. If you are going up against somebody who is putting lots of status effects on you, this furniture could come in handy, but it's a major furniture. Would I replace, say, rigging station whenever I'm running Black Prince rigging station with it? Probably not. Increases the duration of Ablaze, Flooded, and Storm status effect on your ship by 30%. Makes the status effects last longer on you. But it reduces the incoming damage from those things by 10%. I don't know if I would ever use this on anything. Could I? Yeah, I could probably work it into a build. But replacing a major furniture with this, I'm not sure I ever would. Now, let's look at some other stuff. Companion Spirit Locker. This is all about defense. Now, whenever it says it reduces accrue depletion by 20% whenever you're under these effects, it means that if you have these status effects on you, it reduces the amount of stamina you're using while you're bracing or while you're trimming sails. Everything else is explanatory, self-explanatory. Here we go. The braced gunnels reduces incoming secondary damage while you're anchored. It's great for a stationary tank. If you are using electric weapons, this amber coating station is a must. I would actually say it's more of a must than the charged doors. The amber coating station extends those effects, which means it deals damage over time more. And the damage over time, you want more. Charged doors. I have it on a ship right now. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Charged doors is great. It works best if you are doing a fire and lightning build. Absolutely works wonders if you're doing a fire and lightning build. Because whenever they have the Stormstruck effect on them, you will build up the Ablaze charge rate faster. If you're doing a straight lightning build, I honestly would say I would go with the amber coating station over the charge doors. Though you do get that little extra burst of damage after you apply the Stormstruck effect, and you do get 5% more extra damage. But would I replace it with some other furnitures, like maybe something that's defensive? Maybe if I'm running the Heaven's Mandate Lightning Culverins, would I put this in the place of like Culverins Works? No. I would definitely run the Culverin Works and Amber Coating Station before I would throw on Charged Doors. Charged Doors is a great piece of furniture, but it shows its true potential whenever you're building a fire and lightning build, a combination build like that. Here's one. Organ Harvesting Station. Increases rocket damage by 5% for every 20% of hull health missing on player's ship. I think I just got kicked. Well, yes, I did. Let's get loaded back in real quick and talk a little bit more. I know this may seem like kind of a long video, but I just want to explain some things to people. I want players to know how these furnitures work in combination with other furnitures and ships and weapons. So I see and hear a lot of confusion whenever I'm playing the game. On videos I see with people that I talk to in Discord and whatnot, and I just want people to understand. What were we talking about? I don't remember. Oh, Organ Harvesting Station. The lower your health is, the more damage you'll do with rockets. So, if you're in a fight and your health gets low, your rockets become better. Which is great. I mean, being at low health isn't great, but it's kind of, for lack of better words, it's a oh shit furniture. Oh no, my health is low. Use rockets. Do a lot of damage. Then you throw on, if you Fatana Station along with it, and you get a lot more damage. The Plaguebringer's Ward. I explained this in a video that I have tested this, and it is both of these traits, or both of these perks, are for the player using the furniture. It reduces your reload speed, and it increases your weapon damage. Let's see. I do not have all of the furnitures in here. No. That is Vat of Volatiles. I'm looking for one, and I don't see it. Gunpowder Bench. Gunpowder Bench. If the ship that you are attacking is on fire, this makes everything that you do to it 10% more damage. If it's on fire, it gets 10% more damage if you have this. Sorry, I'm looking for stuff. There's other things that I want to point out, and I'm not seeing them in here. Oh, emergency sails. Yes, it does stack with the speed on the Brigantine and the barge. It does stack. First Mate's Legend. You do heal severe damage. So if you're fighting somebody with a flooding build, it heals you. You will faster recharge rate for your stamina recovery after a crew attack. So your stamina recovery will build up after a crew attack faster. Now, reduced effects of the ship encumbered status by 15%. That doesn't mean that you carry 15% more. That means that if you are encumbered, if you are into the red on your weight, and you are going slow, then that speed is increased. You can go faster by 15%. So if you're going, say, 6 knots, you'll be able to go 7 knots. Pretty much. Maybe 8. Just depends. Let's go over to the Carpenter, because there's a couple that I want to explain there as well.
Scarlock has brought St. Anne much prosperity, but I question his methods.
Where is it? No. Oh, maintained arsenal does work on spring loaders. So you can use it with the machinist station mines in combination.
Scarlock wants to make St. Anne more free than Lanitra. I will witness it happen.
Sticky fuel station. Sticky fuel station. If you are running a fire build on anything other than the SAM book, sticky fuel station is fine. Do not run sticky fuel station on a SAM book, because you do not want to increase the ablaze effect, the duration of the ablaze effect on the SAM book. You want it to be short, so you get that bonus, that 5,000 bonus each time you apply it. So there's that.
I enjoy carving Ungwana sculptures.
Maintenance forge. Maintenance forge. You repair yourself while out of combat. It does not work whenever you are in combat. I know some people like it so that they don't have to go back and heal severe damage. But in my opinion, and it's my opinion, having maintenance forge on a ship uses a furniture slot that could potentially make that ship so much better. Either a defensive piece or an offensive piece where you do more damage or you take less damage. It's not that good in my opinion. The scupper station. It's all about flooding whenever you're... It's so that you don't use as much stamina whenever you're flooded. While trimming or while bracing. It's self-explanatory there. I think that about covers it there. Now let's look at some weapons, and we'll be done. I'll try to make this fast.
Skurlock's kicked the hornet's nest. French ships are cruising all over
the new Heaven's Mandate. They are great. Heaven's Mandate does not need to hit a weak point to have that chance to summon a lightning bolt, where the Divine Thunders do. Divine Thunder needs to hit a weak point. Phoenix Talons. Phoenix Talons are tanking. Do I think these will be good in PvP? Yes. Yes, I do. Because the taunt, applying the taunt will decrease, once it's applied, will decrease the damage they do. Plus, if you look at, I think the damage is a little bit lower than on a Zamzam. Yeah, Zamzam 3, 1549. but you get that eagle strike. If you land a single broadside is going to be where it's at. If you land 18 hits with a single volley, you'll instantly deal 1888 burning damage, and that effect will deal 200% increased damage on the target if they are ablaze. Plus, you got provoke. You build up taunt. That will come in, I think, in PvP for those Sandbook builds that like the up-close Zamzam fights. The Phoenix Talons, I think, are going to replace it. Even though the base damage is a little bit lower, you'll build up the taunt effect. You won't need to use a Crouching Tiger to get the taunt effect on somebody, and you have that chance of getting burst damage. Plus, if they are already ablaze, that effect will do 200% more damage, which means you're looking at like close to 5,000. It's probably more than that. Yeah, no. 4,500, somewhere around in there. 4,600 damage if you get that 18 strikes to proc. Any other weapon explanations needed? Let's look here. The long nines, a lot of people don't know this. Long nines do not, they ignore all defense, basically. Not your armor rating, but any kind of damage mitigation stuff that you have, it goes right through. So there's nothing that mitigates damage against long nines. You will always have that damage because, and it was explained by devs in a video, that the long nines were the first epic weapon that you got, and they wanted them to be special, so they avoid damage mitigation. The Ramas. Ramas are unique. Every time you deal simultaneous hits, the damage increases. So the more hits you get back to back, the higher the damage goes. Can't crack anything there. The Bane of Ten Suns, it's not out yet, but it will shoot through targets. It will drill through them and do 50% additional 50% of subsequent target. So it looks like it's going to deal more damage to the target behind. It's got long draw. You charged up to 400 to 900. I don't know that this is going to be more powerful than the Twin Winch. Might be. It may replace the Twin Winch on my Fort Buster build. We'll have to see. Because it has...
Devils and blacksmiths.
It's got a long... Well, it's only got the 1 second reload. Where I think the Twin Winch has a 2 second reload, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, I'm almost sure it does. The Blue Spectre. Blue Spectre, if I remember correctly, used to have a perk where if you set them ablaze with a Blue Spectre, it did like 7,000 instant damage. Am I wrong, or did it used to have that? But the more you use Blue Spectre on a target, the more damage it does. It ramps up. Let's look at some other weapons real quick. If I can. Weapons. Carronades. Carronades add 50% damage as severe damage when a target is flooded. If you build up flood on them fast, you build up severe damage on them very fast if they are flooded. It's a great weapon. The damage seems low, but trust me, it builds up. I've fought several people and had them give up on me because within 30-45 seconds, their flooding was at 50% or more. The Fell Isle, not bad. good against multiple targets all at once. Still doesn't outdo the ablaze effect on a Sandbook or the explosive effect on like a sloop. I think those are better. The Pickery Toxic really works great against other players. So they can't brace the 20%. They can't be braced, so they can't avoid that 20% damage. And what the Toxic does is it saps their stamina. You take away their stamina, they can't move fast. Once that's gone, it takes away bracing stamina, which means they can't brace, which means you're doing full damage. Last season, I ran a Brigantine that ran Le Pickery 3s all the way around. It was great for going after hostile, or going after Helm Wagers. They couldn't run, they couldn't block. So, this Deluge works amazing. Works great on the sloop because of the explosive, but works amazing on a Brigantine. Let's see. Heaven's Bandit, or Divine Thunder. Divine Thunder, the thing about it is you have to hit a weak point to get that lightning strike. But you'll still build up the storm effect, whether you're hitting a weak point or not. Twin Winch. Twin Winch says it's a 1 second draw time, but it's a double draw. You can charge it. You can draw it and let it charge for extra second, so it's a slow draw, and it does 600% more damage. So we'll see. I think that about covers everything, and I hope it does. I hope it explains why you want to use certain things and in combination with each other, and why you don't want to use other things in combination with certain things. I hope it clarifies a good bit for people. I want people to understand. I want players to understand. I want the community to understand how things work together. I hope that helps. I really do hope it helps. And thanks for watching Dreadlock Gaming. Keep an eye out for more Skull and Bones videos coming soon. Leave a comment, hit that like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. Soon to come, Dreadlock Gaming Discord. I am making one. I am not asking anybody to leave any other Discord that they might be in. Stay with your communities. If you want to hop in over on mine, that is up to you. Whenever I have it up and running, I will be putting it in the link. I hope everybody has a good day. Thanks again for watching Dreadlock Gaming.